As a business owner, I have consumed a lot of content, gone through multiple trainings, spoken to many entrepreneurs. I would have lost count of the number of entrepreneurs I've spoken to, and I've come to one conclusion. I've made one observation. Businesses fail because they try to take information, knowledge, try to look for ideas from other businesses which are on a completely different scale, which are operating in a completely different orbit. So what works for them will not work for your business and vice versa. Imagine a simple example. There's a local pharmacy down the street where you stay, and if that person wants to raise capital to expand the number of medicines and the kind of surgical instruments or surgical equipments that they can stock in their store, if this entrepreneur needs capital, will this person end up going and floating an IPO? Not really, right? It's impossible and it's stupid to even think about it from that perspective. Similarly, if you want to grow your business, if you want to get ideas that work for your business, it's very important for you to understand where exactly does your business lie. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you about 5 stages of all successful, highly profitable, profit-generating businesses, and how do you understand where exactly does your business lie so that you can start looking for ideas from other businesses, from other case studies which are in the periphery of your business. Hello and welcome, Emogical Squad. I am Manish Ahuja, also known as MrEmogical. I am a money mindset and financial literacy coach by business and profession, and I'm a content creator by choice because I love sharing information that I learn, getting to know people, getting to help people through my content, through my videos. And this is the MrEmogical podcast. The purpose of this podcast is for me to share knowledge, information, perspective of whatever I have learned from over half a decade of gaining knowledge, creating my own business, making mistakes, learning what works, does not work, and help you, my community, my Emogical Squad, get better at your personal, professional, and your business life. If you have any questions with regards to any of these categories that I've spoken about, your personal life, your professional life, you want to get ideas about how to get better at business, at your work, how to achieve the next promotion, just leave me your questions below. If you also want some perspective on your personal life, I'm not sure if I'm going to go too deep in the personal life category yet, but at least I can definitely help you enhance your mindset, your attitude. That's definitely one area that I'm going to be focusing on. That is the perspective and the premise of this podcast. So if that sounds fascinating to you, please go ahead and hit the subscribe or the follow button, irrespective of which platform you're consuming this podcast on. So without further ado, let's get started, and let me tell you that this podcast has been brought to you by Paycheck to Profit, which is my own personal business, and I'll tell you a little bit about Paycheck to Profit a little later in the episode. The first stage of any business is where you convert an idea into a business plan. Now, let's say you have an idea to start a restaurant, and that is when you actually convert that idea into a business plan where you figure out, okay, this is the kind of space I want. I would want a restaurant which I would need a space which would be of, let's say, 1500 square feet, 2000 square feet. That would be the rent of that place. I will design the restaurant in such a way that 500 square feet would be taken up by the kitchen and 1500 square feet would be for guests. And in that setting, I can seat about 50 people, 20 people, 40 people. And this is going to be the ambience. This is the kind of furniture that my restaurant would need, and this is the ambience that I would create. This is the number of team members that I would need. In the team, I would need about 2 chefs, about 7 or 8 or 10 waiters, and other service staff members, 2 managers, and so on and so forth. This is where you convert your idea to solve a problem in the market that you want to operate in, and you actually convert it into a business plan where you have numbers, where you have clarity, where you have more details about your the target market, the marketing plan, the brand identity, so on and so forth. This is where your business actually starts taking shape. Once you have your business plan sorted, based on that, the next stage that you go to is creating a MVP or a minimum viable product. Now, depending on which city you are from and what's your budget, just starting a restaurant, if you've not had any any experience in the restaurant industry could get really, really overwhelming. So what you do is you start with a small setup, which is, what if your restaurant idea goes bad? Let's say if you are assuming that your particular city or your particular locality has a very strong need of a Mexican restaurant, and you start an entire Mexican restaurant and people just don't show up. People don't like the Mexican food in the locality where you're staying. Probably they want it too spicy, or they find the Mexican food too bland, which I don't think is possible because Mexican food is amazing, but that's the point. I'm just trying to give you an example here. So converting that business plan into an MVP is very important so that you don't end up burning a lot of capital, and you also end up generating a business that can scale in the future. So now that you have an MVP, how does an MVP for a restaurant work? For that matter of fact, you can do a small pop-up, you can create a stall in an exhibition, you can get people to come to a small exhibition and make them taste the food. You can do a small gathering of people where your target customer gets to taste the food and give you feedback. Once you get maximum number of people telling you that they love the food, they will buy the food at the price that you plan to sell it at, and this is the locality where your restaurant will be, that's where you have some sort of an MVP. Once you have that MVP, that's when you actually take your business to the next stage, which is, I'll tell you about it in just 30 seconds, but before that, let me tell you about Paycheck to Profit. Paycheck to Profit is my business. It's also community for millennials and Gen Zs who want to change their relationship with money, want to get to know about how can they change their money mindset, learn law of attraction and manifest more wealth into their life, and get absolutely financially free. To become a part of Paycheck to Profit, go to the description below the like button and show notes of this episode, where you'll find the links to become a member of the Profit Clan. Profit Clan is the email community where I send information about the new masterclasses that are coming up, the new videos which are being released on the Paycheck to Profit YouTube channel, or when a particular reel which is going really popular on Instagram needs to be shared with the community, when I'm releasing new freebies, or when I have any new updates for the community exclusively, is shared on the Profit Clan. You'll find the details to join the Profit Clan below. It's absolutely free, and the clan is incomplete without you, so make sure that you're becoming a part of the Profit Clan. The third level, the third stage of any successful business is, after your MVP, you actually put your business out there. You start creating, let's say your small exhibition sort of a restaurant menu has become an absolute hit. Now you start creating a small restaurant or a food truck, or let's say the response is so good that you now have full confidence that your restaurant is going to function as you would like it to, and you have full confidence. That's when you actually go ahead and take a property on rent, you set it up, you get all the furniture in place, and you start a business where it, over a period of time, it becomes sustainable. Now, what does the word sustainable actually mean? It means that your growth is predictable, your MRR, which is monthly recurring revenue, is predictable. You are now marketing your product, and every time you market your restaurant, you know what kind of total business can you expect out of that marketing exercise. Now, that is where the art of business also gets into the science and math of marketing and advertising and sales, where you understand that if you pump in this amount of funds, this is the kind of output that you can expect from your business, and you can only then use this information to keep growing and scaling your business to a particular stage, after which you will need to go to the fourth level. And the fourth level is when your business is actually a community-based business. Any business can only survive in the long term when it has a very large set of recurring customers who keep coming back to the business. And a restaurant cannot function hoping that every time they open for lunch or dinner service, they'll keep getting new customers all the time. It's impossible. It's very unhealthy. You should create a business which has a steady flow of recurring customers, people who keep repeating their orders, people who keep coming back again and again to celebrate their special days, or they love your place so much that they keep coming back once every 15 days, a week, depending on the nature of your business. that is the kind of business that you want to create, where your particular restaurant is actually a small community in itself. Now, this is not necessarily applicable only to restaurant. All the points that I've spoken to you about are absolutely manageable in any business. I am a coach and I'm running a digital coaching business, and all these points are absolutely viable for my business too. If you are running a gym, all these points are valid for your business too. So irrespective of what business you are in, the fifth and the last stage is the stage where you actually realize that your business is now going to sustain and survive unless and until something goes really wrong. But how do you actually achieve the fourth stage of the community stage is marketing. Marketing is a tool which is going to help your business grow from strength to strength. Marketing is not just about advertising, it's also about building a community, helping people, connecting with people, keeping people in loop, staying on the top of your target customer's mind at all times. If you would want me to create more episodes in the future on marketing, please do not forget to go and comment the word marketing in the comments below. And just that small effort from you of commenting the word marketing will help this podcast go a really long way. So please go ahead and do that. The fifth stage of any successful profit generating business is scaling to infinity. Now, I know this may sound very dramatic, but this is the fact of any business. If you are creating a business that can sustain you only for your lifetime, you are thinking really small. Coca-Cola is over 100 years old. Apple has been in business for about 50 years old, and Nike has been around for around 3, 4 or 5 decades. All these businesses have now become an institution. What is stopping you from creating a business that becomes an institution down the road? It's only the lack of vision from your end or not having the confidence. But you know what? Any business can be created and made into a business which can last for an eternity and a lifetime. So that's your cue. Try and create a business that is so strong in its own ecosystem that it can survive for generations after you. Very quickly, let me consolidate all the 5 points for you. The 5 stages of any business from non-existent to a highly successful profit generating business are idea to business plan, generating an MVP, creating a sustainable business, creating a community-based business, and finally creating a business which can scale to infinity. If you've liked this episode, thank you so much for supporting this episode and listening or watching for the last 12.5 minutes. Please take a screenshot and share that screenshot on Instagram stories, and do not forget to tag me, MrEmogical. I would be very happy to amplify your story, and with your share, more and more people will get to know about the MrEmogical podcast as well. I've literally created this podcast in 3 hours. I just realized it's a good and auspicious day in India. It's Gudi Padwa and multiple other good things happened today. So I thought, why not? Let's just start a podcast today. I'm starting yet another podcast tomorrow from Paycheck to Profit. So if you're not following Paycheck to Profit, please go ahead and follow Paycheck to Profit as well. Follow me across social media. I'm very active on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me on DM and ask me your questions. Thank you so much for listening to this episode till this moment. If you've been watching us on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to the MrEmogical podcast on favorite podcast applications of your choice. And if you've been listening to us, you can always subscribe to MrEmogical YouTube channel and watch all these episodes on YouTube as well. Please take a few seconds and give a 5-star rating and like this video on YouTube. These steps take very little effort for you, but go a very long way for this podcast to reach a much, much, much wider audience. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. Thank you for sticking till the end. I'll now connect with you in the next episode or on the next post across social media. Stay connected with me. Keep giving me your feedback. Keep helping me improve. Thank you so much. And I promise to keep giving you value with every piece of content that I create. I'll now see you in the next episode. Until then, please take care. Keep going. Keep growing.